Americans, what is it? I don't know what the stat is, like we use 30% of the world's resources. That's correct.
So for us to have children in this country,
well, it depends how you raise. It depends how. I'm gonna have a lot of kids too. I will. It depends how you raise them. If you raise them to be hedonists and just use and abuse everything they have, drive SUVs all over the place and eat till they puke. I mean, of course, there's not going to be enough resources for everybody.
Are you familiar with about the resources of being a vegetarian, not being a vegetarian, first of all?
Like, isn't it like 10 times more food just being vegetarian?
More than that, but yeah. What would you have to say to that? I mean,
that might be a good route.
Okay.
Yeah, your point. I mean, seriously, then if that's the problem, then let's have that be the issue instead of like curbing, population. Saying there's too many people, let's kill some. Let's do like China, sterilize people, make people have abortions. I mean, do you ever think about that, bro?
About what? Sterilizing people, making
no,
abortions?
That's the alternative. That's what China's done.
Why is that the alternative?
That's what some countries have done.
Yes.
China, i.e. China.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So there's a couple things you can do. You said what? Being a vegetarian.
Yeah. Working with the resources you have and using the rest for something else.
Yes. So
it's not being done. And in fact,
it's not.
Then multiplying more and more in this country.
Maybe that's your crusade, right? Maybe that's your crusade. Maybe you should, educate people about that. Maybe, right? Okay. The other thing I had was I was curious: is the abortion industry regulated by the government?
To a certain extent, more so in some states than in others.
Okay.
Here in Wisconsin, it was very unregulated. Like in the mid-1980s, they were sending the remains of murdered Preborn off to the pet cemetery in Milwaukee. And then when people found out about that, there was real hue and cry about that. And so they passed a law that couldn't happen.
What people?
The abortion clinics were sending them back.
No, I'm asking which people.
Oh, people in the city.
Specific groups?
No, just people in the city were pretty outraged by it. And there was a big stink about it in the papers and stuff. And they passed the law making it so that couldn't happen anymore. It had to be taken by medical waste company. And so that's regulated now by the state.
Okay, because I just saw a show where, I think they said that it really wasn't regulated other medical professions.
Oh yeah, compared to other medical facilities, the abortion clinics are totally under-regulated.
Okay.
They're not held to the same standards as other medical facilities.
Why is that exactly? Is it just a touchy subject, or are there other medical fields like that?
Well, I know why I believe it's that way.
Okay, but is there other medical fields like that, or is this kind of a special case?
No, they are treated differently.
Because the show I saw just talked about people doctoring when they fudge things, when they ripped out a woman's uterus and things like that. They're telling people they were pregnant when they really weren't, so that they could make money.
Right. Oh yeah, that's done for years. One of the things that he pointed out, I thought was a real good point in regards to what you had said earlier, and that we don't speak for ourselves. When we're judging, as you say, we're simply declaring what God says in His Word, which we hold to be the revelation of God to man. And so we're speaking on behalf of God as revealed by Holy Scripture. So I thought that was a good point.
The woman from Bonsai again?
She probably has a name. You should know, because he's on track. Oh, Andrew, she gotcha.
Okay, go ahead.
You're saying that you are missionary for Preborn, but what about the kids that are born, that are killed after they're born because the parents can't handle it? I mean, if you look at the abuse rates, especially in the U.S. and everywhere else, and that's only, they figure the last I heard, the abuse rate is actually 10 times underreported. So what it actually is. So how can you justify having parents bring up more children? And a lot of times in situations where they can't be provided for, or they're going to be put in physical danger.
Well, I was alive before abortion was legal in America, and cognizant. I was 13 years old when they legalized it, and I remember hearing the arguments on the news before it was legalized that we needed abortion in this country because, number one, it'll child abuse rate because it'll get rid of unwanted children. And number two, it'll lower the juvenile delinquency rate because it'll get rid of unwanted children. And since 1973, both the child abuse rate and the juvenile delinquency rate and 40 million unwanted children deaths later have both of those statistics have skyrocketed. Obviously, the pro-abortion in both. And the thing is that the pro-abortion solution hasn't worked. They were saying this is one of the reasons we need abortion, to lower these two rates. Instead, the exact opposite happened, it's skyrocketing. I believe that's because we show a disregard for human life by killing the preborn, so it makes it that much easier to do harm after children are born. It just brings the disrespect for human life.
You got your hand up?
Yeah, this is kind of around the topic now, back on that subject, but I just want to jump in before. Basically what I was noticing with a lot of people seem more common is just that everyone seems to me to be like thinking there's just one way of fixing all its problems, basically, like we were talking about with the population before. It's not the 6 billion or whatever the number is, you can't just say everyone becomes vegetarian and it's going to happen, or everybody has a portion. It's not going to happen, so it's like, yeah, you're going to kind of, you don't have a kid or whatever, but I mean, I can understand them. I mean, it's great that you find something that you're focusing on that, because if it wasn't for some, people finding one thing to focus on, bring attention to that, then, like you said, you spreading the resources out to that. It doesn't necessarily mean I agree with everything that, like these groups are saying, but I just wanted to point out that I think it's important that there are groups that focus on just a couple of things. But I'm involved in groups like that. It's important that there are strong voices in certain areas. It just seems like a lot of people seem to think that everyone should do everything, and it's not a probable thing.
Right, the Indians have a proverb that they tell. It's everybody's responsibility to take care of the community. You have to have people, like you're saying, who latch on to something and take care of it.
This is just your way, whatever you think. Martha has her things that I think she did a wonderful job doing. But I just want to interject in that.
I was getting involved with the whole feeding billion.
As I say on that one, I was just kind of getting frustrated with the way that this thing kept going back to the
Mr. Beaton for change.
Oh.
Wow.
See, he doesn't have a name anymore either.
What was I just had something in my head going. What was it in my head? Well, speaking on passion and things, I just, back again to me a little bit, I'm a confirmed Catholic. I was on the altar meditating, and I met Jesus in meditation, shook his hand, everything's great, but I don't go to church anymore. I don't really know that there's a heaven. Nobody's ever told me. I don't believe words that man wrote, even though God tells us that, even though we believe that, as a Christian, that there was a touch of God. I believe that God touches everyone's life because we're all from a God, so that these are the words of God, and that if there's something beautiful, we embrace that truth. And so I embrace many truths, and I don't look so much to my future and be selfish in that regard as to what's going to happen to me, but I look to, who might come if I do end up having children, or if people do have children, like what comes out of them. And Jesus, that's just another thing. And just to look out for that. But I did have a question. That's right. It's just that I want to hear a response from somebody that is